What's up? Conversations with Kings. Today is Tuesday. You know what today is? We're a little bit late because I just came from a funeral. I want to apologize for that. My mother just passed away, and I could have came back early, but I had to run to my parents and give my mother a hug because you only get one. So when I seen that, I had to run to my parents' crib and come back. So part of my tardiness, I apologize for that. But you know, you only get one mother and you only get one father. So shout out to my parents. And shout out to the legacy that they left me. You know, no matter what happens, money can never tear down what blood creates. You feel me? And like me being the firstborn son in this world of patriarchy, everything goes to me. And I make sure I hold it down. So to all the ladies that work hard for their families, good luck. Make sure you don't have an older brother or the only son because we're taking everything. Thank you. Yep. Nobody's laughing. I'm sorry. Queen's Court, shout out to Queen's Court. We love y'all. I just want to throw my little patriarchal jokes in there. Being African, you know how that goes. The firstborn son gets everything, everything, without we trying. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Red Pill Hustle. Shout out to Cheryl for joining the room. Please, everybody, get in the room today. Is going to be a very, I realized y'all don't really look at my bios. If you look at my bios, I said I am the trigger man. You look at the bio conversation, I'm a trigger man. So it's my job to pull triggers, like for real, for real. If you look at it, say triggers, but get everybody in the room. Today is going to be a good show. Today is about survivor's remorse in regards to women. And I'm going to explain why I came up with this topic today. And I'm going to play a clip for everybody. And I want everybody to, I hope y'all enjoy this clip because it's going to be something that, how can I say, it's something that we all gonna need to hear, and we're gonna have a big discussion. It's an umbrella discussion that deals with a whole bunch of things that women of the Black and brown community deal with, even women of the white community, Asian community deal with. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. Sometimes I don't respect it. Maybe because I'm a guy, and maybe because I don't have any type of issues. Sorry, I can't use that word according to Kim. Issues, hurt, triggers. We're not using those words. I don't have any qualms with those particular terms because I come from a place of love, not a place of guilt, not a place of competition, but I come from a place of love. See how I'm pulling the triggers already, people? You see the smiles? You see the battle of the eyes? Shout out to my beautiful co-host. Matter of fact, I'm their co-host because it's Queen's Court today. But shout out to them. We also wait for other people to come in the room, other ladies. Shout out to Mr. Best in the World, Family Forever. Missy T, we appreciate you. Nikki Nicole, we appreciate you. April Carter, we appreciate you. Terry, thank you for coming. And I want to say her name because I know she's a troll, but it's so funny. Shout out to Anita B. Dickin' Me. I love that. I love that. That's such a funny troll name. We're going to keep you on board. Thank you, Anita B. Dickin' Me. We appreciate you. That is funny. That is funny. Shout out to Nelly for making all the dark-skinned brothers get more value. You went diamond, that's all you have to give the ladies? Come, y'all need to come, where's that? They let y'all down. They let y'all, the waves, the light skin, the muscles let y'all down. Come home to Baba. Not Papa, not Poppy, not the Latin brothers, not Papa, the light-skinned dudes, come to Baba, please. Because we all right. We all right. And shout out to the girl for keeping it classy. Those who like classy WAP, respect to y'all. Classy WAP, no saliva, no anything. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. That was boring. Shout out to him for having great acting skills as well. Like he appreciated it. Shout out to you. But peace to you. So if you don't get a chance, to all the dudes that's not homophobic and I don't really care about stuff like that, you know what I mean? You go watch it and you laugh. He made a mistake. Hopefully the girl's not embarrassed. And if she could probably sue him too. You know what I mean? That's another thing. She might be married and everything. So be careful. And shout out to Shantae Jackson. Clearly he hasn't done better than you. Shout out to Ashanti. Clearly, Nelly hasn't done better than you. No disrespect to that lady. I don't know her. But that's not it, boo-boo. That is not it, boo-boo. That's what you're doing now? That's not it. He said Nelly got. But you know, Abel Carter, you funny because I don't want to talk about man's another private part, but it's funny because you know, let's get. It's gonna be. I'm going off today, so get in the room. But I'm not trying to talk about man, but you know, it's funny. Not every man it comes correct like that. You know what I mean? All the time and stuff like that. We get it, but you know, we're expecting. You know, it's Nelly, right? I'm going downtown, baby. Ooh.
Yo, street in a Range Rover.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop.
Shimmy, shimmy. Light it up and pass it to me.
Yeah, he played himself. Um, with that being said, hold on. Um, wait, hold on 1 second. All right, new spot. Wait, let me tell my people I'm doing my show because everybody's leaving the funeral doing my show. New spot owned by. Okay, so this is what it is. All right, 20 people in the room. We need 30. We need 30 likes up too before we begin the show. Until then, what I'm gonna do is do my sponsorship. We got 16 likes. I'm gonna even like myself. That's what I've been forgetting to do. I've been feeling myself. I've been feeling myself like I lost my keys. You feel me? Or I lost my wallet. That's how much I've been feeling myself. You feel me? So what's gonna happen is I want everybody, please, to go and like it, bring people in the room, support the queens. It's gonna be a dope topic. It was oh, somebody said it was not getting hot in here. I love the garden. The garden. Missy, you are hilarious. It's not it. Yo, he said, yo, y'all girls are ruthless. I might have to drop my video. Did y'all ever see my video? Let me send y'all a video.
Don't send me nothing.
But you said don't send it, don't put it on the group chat? You sure? So then y'all can confirm. It was at a swingers club. So you hear the noise in the back club. For my you sure y'all want to see? I have permission from her, so this is not. You sure? I'm sending y'all anyway. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Are y'all gonna look at it or y'all gonna block me? We can't hear you, Kim. Kim, we can't hear what you said?
No, I'm on mute on purpose because I'm over here clowning. Just continue.
Don't send it.
No.
Okay.
No. It's okay. We believe you.
No. Somebody said blocked. Cheryl said blocked. That's crazy. Somebody said, all right, so let me get to the sponsorship real quick. Shout out to everybody that supports us. You know what I'm on. Ripple. Please go and support the ripplecode.com. 50% discount. You put the Ripple King. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. You know what I'm on. Loving Life Through the Eyes of Travel. Please go and support. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And while you're at that, when you go to Amazon, go and pick up my brother's book, Willie Dean. It's called Love. Go and pick up his children's book. He's one of the greatest fathers and husbands in the world. Pick up Willie Dean. His birthday is coming up February. He's a Pisces. Going to support me. His wife is a Pisces too. 2 Pisces. Han. Shout out to his beautiful wife, Han. And their beautiful children. Suhan, Celine, and Jihan. Thank you. How about that? Let's talk about it. Also, please, let's give it up to please join the membership Queen Corp for exclusive content and perks. You know I don't have any exclusive content perks. Let's go to my IG stories. It's gonna come soon, but my life is living good. I do have pictures. I was gonna put my video. I should put my video on members only, right? You don't want to know why they call me Baba? Okay. I'm joking. That's disgusting. I will never share that with any one of y'all. Conversation. Shut up, Kim. We can't hear you, Kim. Conversation King merchandise, bonfire.com. Conversation with King. Please go and support the hoodies, the t-shirts, the crew necks, whatever you want to do. Also, we have a tab there. It's called Recoup E Black's money that he spent on TLA. If you click on it, the money goes directly to. Let me stop, brother. I was just joking. I know you're gonna cause a mayhem and mass whatever you say you're gonna do, but really and truly, we want you to use your money wisely. You feel me? I want you to look nice. I want you to be able to wear tight turtlenecks like me and still stand out. That's what I want you to do, please. Please. That's all I want you to do. I want you to be happy. Life is short. I don't want you to waste any more of your money anymore. Thank you very much. And with that being said, I want to say I love y'all. Get the likes up, get the people in the room. We're going to have a great conversation today. But before we have that great conversation today, I think I want to play this real quick. Set the mood.
These days, I'm letting God handle all things above me.
It's my little prayer.
Things I can't change are the reasons you love me.
Come on. Huh?
Listen, you can hear him calling my name. I'm all over the place, I can't stay in one place. I'm not ashamed at all.
Damn.
Still finding myself, let alone a soulmate, I'm just saying. Feels like we're one and the same, our relationship changed. That never existed. Whenever they say something about us, you listen. But fuck what they talking about on your timeline. That's cutting all into my time with you. Fuck what they talking about on your timeline. That's cutting all into my time with you. My time with you, mine.
Shout out to all the women that I've loved, all the women that I haven't loved, and all the women that I will love. Please be patient. Baba's coming to give you the experience that you want. But today we're going to talk about a situation that happened to me when I was with my beautiful, can I say my beautiful Latin Nubian prince? Or no, they don't get that title either. I'm just want to make sure.
You already starting. You see, you
Yeah, you just jumped out of Nikki. What's up? This is
Out the gate.
out the gate.
Here we
No,
go.
I'm just saying, can I say Latin Nubian?
You are an instigator, King.
Duh. Yo, yeah, you just figure that out. Okay. Oh yeah, if we heard a little voice though, right? I'll be holding that back, but see, that's why, because I don't want to get the comparison to JoJo or Aaron Hall. That's why I don't want to be singing like that. You feel me? Anyway, so I went out with this my Latin. I can't say that. So
No.
All right, man. We don't want the brown girls getting it either. This is different. But I went out with my my beautiful Dominican queen and her friends to karaoke, and she was late, and I was in. She's beautiful, 4 children, 4 kids, and everything. I love her. She's bad, right? And I threw that out there to let somebody know, like, because somebody said something yesterday. Oh, because somebody's exceptionally beautiful, I have to do. I'm just letting you know she has 4 kids, and I'm on her body. Anyway, she came late, and when she came late, I just happened to meet some black women there, older women, who was joking, laughing, and when they came, you could see the tension in the room. Oh, you with her? And now some of these women look mixed too, but they were black. You know, I'm sorry, me use your word, Nikki, which is very rude and derogatory. Unambiguously black woman.
How is that rude and derogatory?
I mean, what is rude and or derogatory?
Because unambiguously black is like saying we don't. So it's black is a diaspora that comes in many shades and forms. So when you say unambiguously black, you're devaluing someone's blackness because you don't.
I'm devaluing nobody. It is
I'm just
what it
saying,
is. There's some people who can pretend not to be, and I don't have that option. That's all.
And it makes a different experience.
And
it makes a different experience.
I'm just saying that's just my opinion. I'm sorry. We shooting today. That's it. We shooting today. But it's just my experience. But I'm glad you stand on that because we're gonna have a discussion today. So yeah, she did. April, I'm glad you caught that. Thank you. Shout out to 1906. Shout out to Darrell. We appreciate you. Shout out to Han and the Pisces gang. Hello. So I went there and she was late. You saw the tension when she came in the room because they expecting like a black woman. They didn't know. They see me and they thinking like, damn, he's fine. Then she come down, a Dominican woman, a beautiful Afro-Dominican woman. If you know I put Afro on it, it's good for scholarships and taxes and other stuff for me. Okay. Anyway, and housing, you know what I mean? Afro-Dominican woman. And Oh, you see, Kim is keep it quiet. Kim is today's gonna be fun. Anyway, shout out. So we had fun. I came to the room a couple of times. They was jamming. The sisters was this Nubian sisters was jamming. You know, we out there dancing. Then I went back to my ladies' room. We having a great time, balling out. And all their friends, all their boyfriends were black. They all had their boyfriend. Every guy that was there that came with her crew were black. And these guys were like handsome guys. I'm talking handsome guys, you know what I mean? To the point that it's like, okay, I'll fuck with y'all. We could go out and have fun. You think what I'm saying? At the end, we were leaving, and one of the black women said, she kept on pointing to her watch. I didn't understand. I'm thinking she told me to call me. I'm like, call me. I don't got your number. And then I went closer. She said, don't waste your time. Those Spanish girls only want your money. Oh, this is when we get quiet now, because I'm about to go on my little monologue right now. Don't waste your time. They only want your money. What was hurtful to me was not the fact that she said that out loud. She was drunk a little bit, but it could have caused issues with the woman that I was with. And her crew is not soft, and those black women are not soft either. They were beautiful, but they're not soft either. It could have been a thing. And you know who I would have helped, right? I would have helped the lady I came with, yeah. Right?
That's to be expected.
Oh, there go the shade. There go the shade. If I came with you, I would have helped you.
That's what I meant. That's to be expected. You would have helped her because you were with her.
Right.
She was your guest.
Nikki Nicole, March 17th for a day. But anyway, so they said that. And it was crazy. It would come from that particular lady because she was actually beautiful, or she was the most beautiful out of the whole crew. She was married. Why does she have any skin in the game? Why does she care who I was dealing with when she already has her man? The other girls that were single didn't have anybody. It's like, okay, he seemed like a nice guy, gentleman, boom, boom, boom. But she said no. She was trying to, and she came from a place of love. She was trying to protect me. So I'm not saying she did out of malice. She was trying to protect me. And it was hurtful because my mother's Aries, March 31st. That's why me and Kim have this weird relationship. Anyway, she was trying to protect me. And it hurt me because why do you think anyone that deals outside of my race only wants me for my money? Why is it that any woman that deals with me outside of my race wants me as a fetish? Why can't they just want me? Why are they settling? Because they decided. It's like one of you ladies dating a white man after you got tired of these black men, and I'm saying, oh, they just want you because they it's a fetish. You don't think that's rude? And why should I care if I have my own woman, right? Where's this big thing about color, race, when it comes to relationship? Why do black women, we're talking about black women today, we could talk about brown women, if you allow me to say Latin Nubian queens, if you allow me to say that, but if you don't, then I won't say it. But why is it that y'all feel this sense of divine right to tell people who they should be dealing with? Why do y'all feel a way about that? Why is it that you feel like you have the right to judge someone because they're not dating within their race? Why do you feel that you have the right to call people, not you, Nikki, I'm talking about people because you're not the only one that does it. Everybody does, at least you're just the most fearless person to admit it, unambiguously black.
Why would I be afraid to say that?
No, I just said not you, Nikki. You didn't hear me. I said not you. You're the only fearless person to do it. People are.
You don't have to be fearless to say a truth.
You don't. You're fearless, but people think what you say and they don't say it.
Okay.
This is a fact. And let me prove to you why it's a fact. And then I want to finish my little monologue to pull some triggers. But I'm gonna prove to you why this is a fact. Please bear with me.
I've wanted so desperately to apologize every day to darker skinned actresses, to say, I'm sorry that I'm the one chosen. My mama looks like you. My mum looks like you. And it's been very painful to have women that look like my mum feel like I'm not representing them, that I'm taking from them, taking their men, taking their work, taking their truth. I didn't mean to, you know.
Wow. Let me play that again. For those who didn't hear it, I want you to play it again. I want you to really understand. Tonight is going to be a very, very deep conversation. And I'm glad we are all here. And I want you to understand that woman is feeling some type of survival remorse. That's crazy. How does colorism lead to survival remorse? That's crazy. Usually survival remorse deals with people that actually make it out their community successful and they feel guilty for it. But her color, her skin tone makes her feel guilty. Like some of the Latin women I date, white women, Asian women, they really feel bad. Some of them feel bad, and I don't know why they feel bad, because men of our community like them. I want to get to the bottom of this. So today, if you're not ready to hand this conversation, please, everybody in the garden, you don't have to be here, but I think you should get people in the room, because we're going to be really talking about certain things today. For real, for real. Conversation with Queen is a real show on the craziest but the best platform in the world. So please, let's talk about it. Queen's Court.
I've wanted so desperately to apologize every day to darker skinned actresses, to say, I'm sorry that I'm the one chosen. My mama looks like you. My mum looks like you. And it's been very painful to have women that look like my mum feel like I'm not representing them, that I'm taking from them, taking their men, taking their work, taking their truth. I didn't mean to, you know.
Wow. Kim, I want to go to you first. And I want to go to you first because I like to always ask you one particular question so we can set the tone. Are you jacking what she says? Oh, shit.
So here's the thing. That is her experience. That's her experience. However, I will say this. I do feel that there is a ton of trauma and a ton of just so many complex feelings and emotions and nuances when it relates to colorism, especially in the Black community. That's the only one that I can speak on because I'm unambiguously Black. So here we are. But the thing is,
or you ambiguously?
What did I say? Did I say un? I meant no. I said un. Yeah. Thank you.
Unambiguously. Okay, I just want to make sure because you said
yeah. No, I said un. Okay, don't do that speaking.
But you look light skinned today.
It's my
You could pass for Aaliyah.
Oh, I think she's gorgeous though.
Right.
Hey, I'm with it.
Unambiguously Black?
Yeah, she's Black. Yeah, she's
Black or unambiguously Black?
She's unambiguously Black.
She's Black. There's no ambiguity around her Blackness. So
no one thought she was Mexican.
Exactly.
She's just light skinned.
Right. But
She can
to
pass
my
it to me.
point,
All right, go ahead.
to my point, there's just so much just trauma and nuance and just feelings around colorism. And it's just like for her to be that filled with emotion, you know, it was like sad to see, right? It was definitely sad to see. But the thing is that like we have to go into the root of like where this came from. I feel that when we have these conversations, we're being blamed for having them because everyone's like, oh, we should be past that. We should be beyond that. But I don't ever think we really like quite understand how certain things have like led to this and how in a lot of ways we've been taught things and we tell each other things that kind of keep this going. So was I jacking what she says? I mean, I don't share her same sentiment. I'm not on that side of the equation. But I mean, she seemed to be very emotionally hurt and disturbed by it. And so, I mean, I think that's very valid. I can't say that it isn't.
You're funny.
Okay.
You're
You want to
funny.
enlighten me on how? Okay.
You're funny. Nikki, I want to tell you why. Because she says some things that if a normal girl said, you'll be offended on the regular street. She said, I'm sorry for taking your jobs. I'm sorry for taking your man. Nikki, talk to me.
Well, listen, I mean, okay, first of all, I see people asking, like, I don't know if people are confused about what unambiguously black means. Okay?
Yes, they are.
Let me tell you, okay.
And would
If
you
it's
mind
something I
typing it?
made up.
I can post it up too if you can, because people, when you say it, it's one thing, but when you have it on fine print, can you match? So I can post it up. This is what you mean in one sentence.
What, you want me to send you something to post?
No, you can just type it on the chat. Either one of y'all. What ambiguously black means.
Well, I think everyone knows what ambiguous means. Ambiguous just means it's not definite.
Right.
Okay, it's a mutable thing. Whereas, and I just want to make it clear, it's not a phrase that I made up. Like it's an actual category. And if you've ever been on a casting call, if you've ever submitted yourself for a role, there is a category where I don't know if they're still doing it because maybe it's not, in vogue now, but they would send out, the sheets and they say, we're looking for ethnically ambiguous. That is a category. So we want someone who looks like there's something, but we can't really put our finger on what exactly they are. So we can check our box and say we have a person of color, but we don't necessarily want black. We want ethnic ambiguity. We want someone who's not white, but not necessarily black. But they could be black, but they can pass for Greek. But they could be black, but they can pass for Mexican. But they could be black, but they could be Argentinian. Ethnically ambiguous. It's a category that in Hollywood was highly sought after and prized, which is probably—
Tristan help you? Is that correct? You cannot deny that someone is black? Is that a simple way?
That's what unambiguous means. That means on site, definitive.
Am I definitively black?
No question.
Am I definitively black?
Your exclamation point black.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I love it. I
Right.
love it, to be
Right.
honest.
Right.
So it's not a phrase that I made up. It's just it's a category of blackness where there's no question mark behind my blackness. I'm never walking down the street and someone's guessing whether I'm from Thailand or, Medellin. No, people are like, that's a black girl. And that's cool. I'm cool with that. I am an unambiguously black woman. Okay. And I'm fine with that. But I understand that there are black women, even in my own family, who are full on black. But, because of our history, there are people in my family who are black, but they could the whole thing pass. And it was a whole thing that went on in Reconstruction where people were ambiguously black. They were light enough to possibly switch it up.
It's not their fault, though.
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault.
No, but that lady, Dandy Newton, thought it was her fault. She felt bad. She felt like survivor's remorse. She felt guilty.
Well, I
taking
mean,
your job,
black
and for
women
taking your man.
responsible for that?
No, but she felt guilty for taking a job. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Because she felt guilty for taking your man and your jobs, which I thought the jobs, I get it because certain roles and stuff. But
your whole white husband.
But your man. Yeah. Nikki, we're not choosing violence today. Thank you. We're not choosing violence today, right? At the end of the day, she essentially said she took your. That's why I said that was hurtful with taking your man.
But that's kind of presumptuous in and of itself.
This is what I think. This is what I want to get. Like the vibe I got from
Very
her.
true.
The vibe that I got from her was that of when you're in New York, the old Upper West Side Jewish woman who does things for you because she feels sorry, because you less than. I'm sorry for having all this privilege. That's what a vibe I got from her, right? But I also think that women who are unambiguously Black, your term, they do put this guilt on them for and saying, like Kim said earlier, there's a different experience. Isn't the Black experience the same?
No, because we're not a monolith, so it can't possibly be the same. Contrary to popular belief, there are still very distinct cultures that are intertwined within parts of the Black community. We have a socioeconomic range in the Black community. I mean, there are pretty wealthy Black people. There are pretty poor Black people. So, I mean, it's a spectrum. It's not a monolith. So, no, the Black experience is absolutely not the same.
So once again, Nikki, were you jacking what Dandy said? Because
okay, I think this is not a yes or no. There's some gray area here. Like number one, I appreciate her kind of acknowledging that there is some preferential treatment for people who are women who are ambiguous, who are ethnically ambiguous. Kudos for acknowledging it and not pretending like the rest of us are cuckoo crazy and seeing things that are not there. It is a thing. And thank you for acknowledging that.
Right.
Now, when it goes on to the apology, I think the issue is, I think she said a little too much. Like she added too many different concepts into the apology, which took away from the apology. It's kind of like when someone says, I'm sorry, but ... It kind of negates in some way the apology. So when she went on, like it's a longer statement where she went on, she said things like Black women are the women, and I'm in sum and substance, this is not a full quote, but basically what she was saying is Black women are the women who've basically treated me the worst, who caused me the most issues with, you know, my identity, who picked on me the most or whatever. It's like, okay, so you're apologizing to Black women, but also chastising them in the same statement. I think not to negate what she may have gone through her experience with.
But that's the truth.
Black women. It should have been separate from the apology, is all I'm saying. You can't.
Why is that? Why isn't that her? And I'm playing devil's advocate. Isn't that her seeing both sides perspective? Like she basically says, I felt bullied because I wasn't Black enough. You ladies didn't make me feel Black enough. And
so you're positioning yourself as a victim within your apology.
Right. But that's how do you get it? Like
no,
I didn't feel Black enough. I'm sorry. Now I understand why you were mad at me, because I was taking your jobs and you're mad. Because you care about your money and your love life. I was taking it. You know, she really wasn't taking it. Right? So she's saying, I'm sorry, but you didn't have to do that to me.
I would prefer your apology to just be an apology. I don't need an apology mixed in with an accusation. I don't need the two to be together. If you're going to,
it lessens the power.
Stick with that. If you're going to apologize, put a period behind it, full stop. Don't combine an apology.
So you don't want her to address that part
separately?
Not within the apology. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Nikki.
So if she said that, then how would it be? It would be combative.
Some conversations have to be adversarial, but you have to have the conversation. But don't apologize and say, but it's my fault while you're apologizing, because that negates the apology, is all I'm saying. And that's how I think many people received it. And then also, I don't need you to apologize for being biracial. No, who asked for that? Nobody asked for that. I don't think any Black woman in America or the universe was like, we want you to apologize for being light skinned. Like, no, that's not the apology we needed.
What do y'all want? What's the apology that you need?
Well, I wasn't really looking for anything, but if you come in and you're honestly trying to give something, what I need you to do is don't apologize for being light skinned. When you are called and you are picked, say, no, I shouldn't be the chosen one. It shouldn't be me, but this is a great script. You know who would be great for this role? This person and this person and this woman. Let me put you in touch with the people who should have this role.
So you want her to forsake her profession
I want her if she seriously is like, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't talk about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. And I know that there are actors who do that, or create roles for Black women. You got contacts, create a production company, and you start a play or a show or something to give dark-skinned Black women roles. I'm not asking for you to apologize.
That's why and the reason why I brought this up, because you had a very amazing actress with us last week, and the whole cast was unambiguously Black.
Right.
Literally. There was no doubt. It was funny that the place is called, Kings and stuff like that. It was just like the coincidence, right?
And someone had to make
I know,
a very
Kim, don't hate.
choice
This is my destiny. Don't hate.
for that.
We got our candles too. Don't hate. At the end of the day, with that being said, I'm just seeing that there's a lot of animosity and tension, and Black women don't want to admit to it. And you're making
who and which ones?
Hold on.
Okay.
There's a lot of animosity and tension. Black women don't want to admit to it. And there's also a lot of survivor's remorse for not only light-skinned women, but women outside of the race who deal with Black men, or who get preferential treatment because apparently they don't look Black, right? So I want to get to the core of that. I want to get to the core of why is that they feel guilty to be light-skinned or not in the race, but also deal with Black men. And I want you to be honest with me. Y'all don't make them feel bad. Come on, let's dig deep. Y'all don't make them feel bad.
How? Like Kim, you go ahead, because
girl,
are you out here making light-skinned women feel bad?
Light-skinned women, I hope not.
What about women outside of the race?
Y'all too. Here's the thing. I feel that you can have an opinion on something, and it's not a judgment. Where I have a problem, I'll say it again, is when you have a preference, and that's totally fine. My problem extends to you having some opinions beyond your preference. So if you say, I prefer this group of women, good for you. It's good to know what you like and know what you don't like. But
Right.
when anybody, men or women, is like, I like this group of people and I hate that group of people, and this is why. And it's extremely problematic when the group of people you hate is the group of people that you're from. It's not good to hate anybody. But when you hate the group of people that you're from, to me, that's just a little bit strange. And so that's where I take, because you're hating yourself. That's why it's strange. And that's really where I take the issue. Again, there has been so much hurt and trauma as it relates to different skin tones and colors. I mean, you have like erasure movements. You have just all kinds of things where races of people of color have been told to mate with people who are not people of color to get the Black out of their bloodline. You've got women who used to wear big hats so they wouldn't get tanned. You've got grandmothers and great-grandmothers looking at babies' fingers and ears to see what color they're going to be when they're born.
Right.
So, I mean, these are things that we're still actively doing and passing on. And so the bigger conversation needs to be us stopping that versus trying to victimize or make people feel bad, or people feeling bad on their own. Because again, I don't know her. I don't know what her experience has been, but I also wonder like where that guilt came from. And does the guilt automatically come from other people, or does it come from herself?
Nikki?
Or does it come from that other side of the family?
And that's a fact too.
Black women's fault making you feel bad.
What do you explain to me? Elaborate on that.
I mean, it's widely known that oftentimes the white side of the biracial family is not that welcoming of the half Black children. So can we get some insight on that? Or are they fully welcoming and the white people just love you and it's just the Black women that make you feel bad?
Let me ask you a question. Do I have two? Can I make you the voices of the Black women today, please?
Can you do what?
Can I make you voices of all Black women today? Can I ask you questions and represent them, please? Do you think that outside of social media, if there was no social media, there was no media, pop culture, do you think that the attraction to darker skinned women would be more?
No, because even outside
No.
of social media, before social media was a thing, in the Black community, light-skinned women were still heralded very much, and we didn't have it. So, I mean, it's like a whole media thing. It's a whole standard of beauty thing. I know people don't like to talk about it, but it's like there is a specific standard of beauty, and the specific standard of beauty doesn't necessarily encompass things that are unambiguously Black. It encompasses the lips, the hips, the butt, the boobs, but just on a lighter hued person. And so I think that kind of goes into the deeper confusion for Black women, because it just seems as if when we do something, it's ghetto,
Right.
or when we do something, it's not good. But then
Right.
if another person does it who does not share my complexion, then it's okay and then it's acceptable. Again, these are things that are aggravating, and they're things that I don't feel that people are really open to. You know, there is a saying, it's cool to want to be Black until it's time to really be Black. And that is like a real thing. It is cool for people to say the lingo and try to say these words and try to look this way and wear the bamboo earrings and the cornrows. But like when it's really time to like be Black and stand up for Black issues, sometimes people don't want to do it. And I know I'm taking it a little bit beyond, but I think it kind of all like meets, and it is definitely it is definitely like a reason to be frustrated. And it's a reason that some of us have frustration just about the thing, not necessarily at people, but just about like the concept and about some of the social norms that are being upheld as it relates to standards of beauty and to colorism.
All right, let's get spicy now. Do you think light-skinned women or women outside of the race, the Black community, should feel guilty? Kind of like white men or white women when they feel guilty because of slavery or imperialism. Right?
Guilty doesn't do anything.
Hold on, Kim. Hold on. Let me finish the question, please. We know there's some white friends or white peers that we have. They feel guilty because of racism. They feel whatever, but they're not taking back their privileges, right? And if I was white, I wouldn't feel guilty. That's not my fault. You right? Do you think they should feel guilty for taking the jobs or taking out? She said it. I didn't say it. She said, take it out, mans. She said that. You think they should feel guilty?
Listen, no one should feel guilty for being born the way they are. Like, that's stupid. Like, you can't feel guilty for that. Right. However, if you know that you have been bestowed with things that you were maybe not the most qualified for, but you only got them because you are light skinned and you took them when you had an opportunity to maybe not take them,
right?
Then maybe, yeah, you should feel some type of way about that. And I'm, you know, that Zoe Saldana who did that Nina Simone movie. I am sorry. Feel guilty, my friend.
Whoa, Nikki, you're choosing violence today. Why should she feel guilty for that? Zoe Saldana is a great actress.
Who did blackface? I agree.
Who did blackface and put on a prosthetic nose when there are
it's called makeup.
Other Black women who could have done it?
It's called makeup. It's called
Nah.
Not to that level. That's different. No,
that's too far.
We're not doing that. No.
Because
there are women who didn't have to wear the makeup to do the role.
As an actor, as a thespian, people are getting into character, right? You know, Jamie Foxx was in Blind. So are the people that's blind is able to say you can't play that because you're not blind? You can't play Ray Charles because you're not blind?
They can say that, but I think you're the false equivalency. Exactly. The history around blindness is not the same as the historical context of color in this country.
So she's acting.
So I don't think that's the similar argument.
But she's an actress.
Okay.
No.
So you don't get to put on blackface and so why not hire
Julia Roberts,
Nicole Kidman then if that's what we do?
They probably didn't audition for it.
No, stop it. You're smarter than this.
She considers herself Afro. I think she's Dominican Afro. She's one of those.
I get it, but she's
not Black.
They could have found an Afro Dominican who did not have to paint herself to be Nina Simone. They could have done that.
But if that person comes from a fan base, you know when they select people for those type of movies, they bring in they also pay you for your fan base.
Yeah, but her fan base
would
are
not
people
to do that.
Huh?
And her fan base are not people that would watch a movie about Nina Simone as well. Let's just keep
I
that all the way real.
I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Huh?
No, I'm just going to say, we also have to look again at the historical context of blackface in this country. So I feel like we are just
hold
looking at
on.
things and
Before
we're
we go,
not looking at where it came from.
before we go down this
That made it even more
rabbit hole, before we go down this rabbit hole, let's not conflate blackface when it was actually makeup.
It was actually makeup when it was blackface.
No,
right.
Blackface. Okay, let's do the history. You mean, because when you say blackface, I'm thinking about a fraternity that put on dark makeup to look black and make fun of us and caricature. To look to resemble the character she played or she wanted to play. She had to put on makeup.
She should have said no. And I think that's the point.
And it was horrible.
That's the point that we're getting to.
Horrible. When you watch it, it didn't work. She didn't look or resemble. It was distracting. It was horrible. It was awful.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they could have just gotten an actress who shared her actual hue, and they wouldn't have had to do that, and it would have been distracting, and it would have been a better piece of work. It would have been a better film. Not to mention, it seems as if I maybe read something a few months ago, maybe it was a year, that she actually regretted doing that because it was a poor decision, period.
Right. So why did they pick her instead of Viola Davis and Fantasia?
Because we have a whole issue with media as it relates to Black people not being represented properly. Why do we have the issues in media that we have now? Why are we painted in one way, like on television and just all these other mediums? Like, I feel like you know the answer to that question. Like, if people are not, if they don't have a cultural stake, if they don't have an understanding of culture, they wouldn't even know that it was something that they shouldn't do.
He said, who would have been better, Octavia Spencer or Lupita Nyong'o?
It could have been India Ari. It could have been Denai Guerrera. Could have been an unknown person, that a new person that we don't even know.
Exactly. That just wasn't it. And I just think it's okay to say that.
But
especially because the makeup looked terrible.
Okay,
it didn't even look good.
Okay, so the makeup artists say that, but let me ask you a question. Who's the commission of Black women that's saying this is not right?
What do you mean? Who's like the representatives?
It seems like, yeah. Who's saying no, this is not right?
Several people.
But they couldn't stop it.
Saying that it's not right.
Yeah,
of course they couldn't. And so what's the point? I'm confused by that.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody's complaining after the fact, but where's the people to regulate this from happening? Right.
So do you think that media in Hollywood is a regulatable industry? Because if we could regulate it, half the things that we see, we wouldn't be seeing. So I'm not understanding where that's coming from.
Let me give you an example. So you're telling me that a light-skinned person, a dark-skinned woman shouldn't play Aaliyah in a biopic?
No.
Well, at least if she does, she didn't have to put on blackface or whiteface to do it. I mean, I'm not understanding what you're saying.
No, you get what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying, so if a dark-skinned girl plays Aaliyah, you won't accept that.
Lupita Nyong'o should not be playing Aaliyah.
So you just want to do basically your typecasting, basically.
You're supposed to, if it's a biopic, you're supposed to look like the person you're portraying. Why is this controversial?
It's not. These are things that we know.
Okay,
we know that.
Because you brought it up, Nikki. I didn't bring up Zoe. You did. We was on the topic of the hot of colorism within relationships and within the fact that there is survivor remorse from light-skinned women outside of our race that feel bad, that really do feel bad. There's women that really do feel bad. And y'all know that because they attract Black men to the point that it feels so bad that they try to befriend y'all because, like, damn. But it's not their fault that we like them.
I'm confused.
No, it's not. There's nothing to be confused about because it's the truth. I told you I just experienced it at the karaoke joint.
So you think that lady said that just because she automatically just felt threatened and just didn't like this other person?
I never knew why she said that. I never knew why she said that because she's married. She has no skin in the game.
But maybe she's thinking from a collective point of view. Like, yes, I have my man, but I want my sister, my daughter, my cousin, my auntie. I want them to have what I have. Maybe that was her frame of reference. Maybe she wasn't from a I got mine, so everybody else fend for yourself type of mentality.
Or maybe she overstepped. I mean, but I think the way you're phrasing it, and again, this could just be me
Somebody
being
asked you a
triggered.
question too.
Is it the same for the men acting as characters, not actually resembling them in complexion and tone too? Yeah, I would say it's the same. If Idris should be playing the role, don't cast Shamar Moore. You know what? When they cast Terrence Howard as Martin Luther King or no Mandela, it was awful. I couldn't even focus on the movie. It was so distracting. I was like, this is bonkers. Like, I love Terrence Howard. He is a great actor, but Nelson Mandela, like, stop. So yeah, I would say it works for men too.
J-Lo played Selena because the family thought they looked similar, but they received flack because people wanted a Mexican woman. Is that the
They
same
did.
thing?
They did.
Is that the same thing?
Okay, so here's the thing. Okay, let me interject. I listened to something that Denzel Washington said about culture and about how it translates on the big screen.
Right.
So he was talking about, big movies, right? Like, Schindler's List and a couple of other ones. And he was like, yeah, a person that maybe wasn't Jewish or wasn't this or that could have directed a movie. But the fact that the person who did direct the movie was of that culture and they could understand it, there are just certain nuances that they knew how to include in that particular film. He's like, so it wasn't that it wouldn't have been great. It just was greater because someone who understood could interject things into it. And I think that's the part that we're missing. We're trying to make it black and white, but it's just like when you have knowledge of that culture, and you normally have the best knowledge when you are from that culture, then there are just certain things you know to do and to not do. A, to be respectful. B, to be as realistic and as on point as possible with displaying and depicting certain things. Sometimes there are certain things that are lost in translation when we are not in charge of telling our own stories. And so that all relates to exactly what we're talking about. So I just wanted to put that out there since we did take the spin on movies. I mean, upholding certain parts of culture and little nuances, it matters. And it matters to the people that are watching the movie as well. So yes, you see all kinds of crazy things that are happening, but then a lot of times those are not good stories because you don't have people who understand the culture telling them. And that's how you get Nina, that's how you get Zoe Saldana in blackface for Nina Simone. Somebody just did not understand.
Right.
And can I add another caveat just before we move on?
Yes.
We also have to understand the power of the image. It's called a television program. We're being programmed. And so you have to think of what messaging you're sending if in a biopic about, I don't know, just, I'm going to make this up. A black woman who was a scientist who created the first cure for something. If that was a dark-skinned black woman who did that, but when you cast the movie, you cast an ambiguously black woman, that is a missed opportunity to send a message to all the little brown and dark-skinned black girls like, oh my gosh, someone who looked like me did that. And so if you consistently just erase dark-skinned black women, I think it's a bigger problem than just like, oh, get over it, it's a movie. I think it's a bigger problem. And I also think that it's somewhat intentional and it was intentionally done. And it's problematic. And I don't think that we should just skip over it like it's just some light thing, like we should move on. No, I don't think it is. And it's not something that's just done to black people. If you remember the movie A Beautiful Mind, it was an Oscar-winning movie. It was Russell Crowe. And he was married to this brilliant woman at MIT, who was at MIT back when like women probably weren't, there weren't a plethora of women at MIT. And she was like a brilliant scientist or engineer or mathematician or something. And she was a Hispanic woman, like a visibly Hispanic woman. And they cast a white woman in that role. So if you didn't know anything about this story and you're watching the movie, if you're a young Hispanic woman, you wouldn't have known that there was a Hispanic woman who was a brilliant mathematician or engineer at MIT in 1940, 50, whatever, because they made it a white woman. I think that is a missed opportunity. I think it's intentionally done, and I can't support it.
Well, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but I want to say one thing. You ladies are really crossing some boundaries that shouldn't be crossing, because what y'all saying is, because the world we live in, we're going to have men playing women role eventually. We're going to have women that play men role, and we have that already. I think there was a show where it was a young woman playing a man's role. I forgot the name of the show. It was on Netflix or one of those shows, Stars, whatever. I don't know the show. She was a young high school man. She was playing a young high school boy, and she was a woman. So what y'all saying is really going against what this progressive society is preaching. You're saying play what you know, because you can add a real context or real substance to the role. Oh yeah, I want to make sure we're clear on this.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say I think a woman should be playing a woman and a man should be playing a man. Like yeah.
Kim?
I'll say this. I feel that I see where you're going, but I
Right.
also think that it just comes across as disingenuous. That's how I'm looking at it, as far as like this whole little apples and oranges, false equivalency, whatever. But to your point, yes, I feel that you can add nuance if you are playing something, if you are producing something, and you have knowledge about what it is that you're doing. And that's what I said.
Okay, question. Do you feel that Black women, there are Black women that bully women for being lighter skinned?
Of course.
No, I'm going to ask, do you feel that way?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Okay, and where does this start? Does it start in elementary? Does it start in high school? When does this start and why does it start?
There's so many reasons. I mean, it's not just one reason. It's not just one thing that's told to these women that makes them think that. Have you ever read The Bluest Eye? I know you've read it.
Well, damn, how do you know?
I mean, because you're a scholar. You read it, right?
Toni Morrison.
The Bluest Eye?
Right, go ahead.
Okay. I'm just saying, so, and I know you've heard of like this, and I can't remember what the study is, but the studies of like when children are looking at dolls and they're asking them, what are your perceptions of these dolls? And the lighter ones were the good ones, the darker ones were the bad ones. So I'm bringing up these things to say that there are tons of reasons as to why children bully other children. And children bully children specifically because of their skin tone. Tons of reasons why. I think it's less impactful to ask like when it happens and let's just really get into like why it's happening.
So can you tell us why?
There's so many reasons why. I mean, there could be a darker skinned woman who's in a family who's ridiculed for being dark skinned. She could be a darker skinned woman in a family of lighter skinned people. You know how it is with African Americans. Our genes are just all over the place. So two dark skinned people can have a light skinned baby. Two light skinned people can have a dark skinned baby. You got some in between. It's such a spectrum. And because there is such social status. Okay, well, I'm just talking about Black people. Okay. Great. I think it varies less though in other cultures. They might have a different hair color or different eye color, but I'm talking about like completely different skin color.
Yeah, Latin culture that happens.
Okay, well, great. My point is this, and now I lost my point, King. Thank you. The thing is, there could be so many reasons why. A lot of it is hatred that child probably is experiencing in their home. A lot of it could be envy. They could say, I think these people are treated better. I wish I was this and I'm not, so I'm going to make fun of this person. I mean, it's tons and tons of psychological reasons why it happens. And it's wrong. And I'm not going to sit here and cape for it and act like, oh, well, it's okay to do, because it's not. Because you've got the other spectrum and the other side where lighter skinned people make fun of darker skinned people. Again, it goes back and forth and it's not right. But the reasons why a lot of times are hatred that these children are experiencing from whoever. I don't know. I mean, it's so many reasons.
And I would like to add that I don't personally on a daily basis see Black women just like coming down on light-skinned women. Like I personally don't see it. Does it happen? Yes. And when it does happen, it kind of looks like, oh, she thinks she all that just because she light-skinned and got long hair. That is the extent of the bullying that I have seen of light-skinned women. But I will say on the flip side, dark-skinned women are bullied by society. Not just one group of society. They are bullied by the system. There are studies that show, and this is dark-skinned people. There are studies that have looked into this, and I never noticed it until I was told to look. When you look at the homeless population among Black people, when you look, it's a high percentage of dark-skinned people who are homeless. It's somewhat rare to see a light-skinned person who is homeless. When you look at the prison population, there is a high percentage of dark-skinned people in prison. When you look at the time as far as your sentence that is given, there is disparities for the same crime. A light-skinned person getting a easier, smoother, less time sentence than a dark-skinned person doing the exact same or being convicted of the exact same crime. So yes, there is bullying, but I think in our culture, given our history, when you are a dark-skinned person, for instance, a person of your complexion, King, you're not just bullied by Keisha in second grade. You are bullied by the United States government. You are bullied by culture. You are bullied by pop culture, by not seeing anything positive about yourself on TV. It is a consistent barrage of bullying when it comes to being a dark-skinned person. So I don't think that the two are equal. That's just me. And this is just me speaking as a brown-skinned girl. I'm in the middle. I've never been considered light-skinned, but I've also never really been considered dark skin. I'm just kind of like riding in the middle. So I just want to make sure that I'm letting it be known that yes, there's bullying against light skinned people, and I'm not negating their experience at all. But I will say that the dark skin experience is a very particular experience. I'll just leave it at that.
Do you think people purposely marry outside their race so their child doesn't have to go through that experience?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Is that normal?
I have to look at the numbers, but I mean, I've absolutely heard it. I mean, it's called erasure. So,
right.
Yeah.
Can you explain to people what that means, please?
It basically means when people mate with people who are outside of their race, probably lighter skinned people, to erase the blackness, black features, black hair texture, black whatever out of their bloodline.
Right. Do you think it's wrong?
Because
I know some girls that want to marry me because they want a tall son.
I think you want to be careful about telling people their choices are wrong. What I would say is it's wrong and problematic that we live in a society that will put someone in a position to even think they have to make that choice. That is what I would say is wrong.
I think it's misguided because I think you're trying to give your child better outcomes without actually making sure that your child has better outcomes. I think it's almost like you're attempting to try to solve a problem, but then you can't really. And it gets really hairy too, because again, genetics are crazy, especially when you have two people that look very different. And so you can't pick what part of the black and what part of the white, or what part of the black and what part of the Latino your kid gets. So you could be doing it to make sure that they have lighter skinned or different textured hair, and they still might not. It's a 50-50 chance. You don't know how it's going to match up. So if that's like the sole reason that you're doing it, I just would implore people to be a little bit more guided and have their intentions a little bit better, because you just don't even know how that's going to turn out.
Do you think that black men, when they date outside their race or they date lighter skinned women, they attribute negative attributes to the darker skinned women? Like combativeness, like rudeness. Do you think that we attribute that to just the color itself or just black women in general?
I think psychologically there we might be onto something. To Nikki's point, if you kind of look at even television, and when you see more aggressive people, sometimes the aggressive people are darker skinned. Blackish, the show Blackish, did a wonderful, wonderful episode on that. And it just kind of talked about how darker skinned women are sometimes, and men too, are positioned to be more aggressive. Whereas if you're lighter toned, you're a little bit more subdued. People don't think you're as threatening, so on and so forth. So I think on a psychological level, that could be true, King. I mean, I don't really know like where the data is to kind of, put it out there. But there are so many like sassy black women tell it like it is characters. And I don't find it any coincidence that more than likely, by and large, they are darker skinned.
It's funny to me because you mentioned Blackish, which has Tracy Ellis Ross, who's one of my favorite actors. She's half Jewish. Her father was a Jewish man. Is she allowed to play Black Rose?
Well, she identifies as black. And that's her choice. And I'm not telling anybody biracial what to identify as. So let me just state that. But what the difference to me is that she identifies as Black. She understands Blackness because she, I don't know, maybe has a Black mother. She understands Blackness because she's pursued it. I don't know. I think anyone who is biracial or multi-ethnic can understand Blackness. What I'm saying is that she's done the work and she understands she understands some of the cultural relevance and some of the things in culture to do so. And again, that's by her own choice and her own cognition. Like she says, I am a Black woman.
But she should
so
be
I think that's the difference.
Danny Newton,
exactly.
Danny Newton never. She doesn't claim a black.
I don't know.
But and see, I don't think people were saying she shouldn't be playing Black roles.
Right.
I think it was that you shouldn't be getting all the Black roles. Is I think what was more so being said. No one was saying you're not Black enough to be Black.
You're stopping their money.
Huh?
You're stopping their money.
Well, listen, and this is the thing. If money is your God, then you go that route. If all money is good money for you, then you go that route. But then don't get on TV crying about it 20 years later.
Yeah, I'm kind of missing like the reason as to why this came out. And again, she mentioned her
She's
mom.
got a movie coming out.
Who?
Oh, okay.
Tandy
Newton.
Oh yeah, okay.
But I mean, and she mentioned her mom, and I think honestly that might be a good place for her to go back and start and maybe have a conversation with her mother, right? And because here's the thing, I think sometimes too, as parents, we kind of don't prepare our children for certain things as far as like culture is concerned, as far as just like being aware, as far as just kind of like just understanding certain things. And so maybe that was her experience. And so maybe she's not really trying to issue an apology to Black women at all. Maybe like that's a conversation that she needs to have with her mom. And she just kind of brought it to us, and like we weren't asking for it, to be honest with you.
And King, can I say something? Because I don't want to seem. I feel like what I just said probably sounded a little like I wasn't being compassionate.
It did.
I mean.
I'll put it as a clip. Thank you.
From a perspective of an apology indicates that you are trying to restore a situation, that you are trying to make the situation right. And in order to make the situation right, we need more than tears, is what I'm saying. If you've done something wrong,
because it doesn't eradicate anything.
We didn't need the tears. We didn't ask for them, and they're not helping. So what you could do is say, listen, I realize now that maybe there was some tables I should have walked away from. Maybe there were some roles I shouldn't have taken. And I feel no one's asked me to do this, but of my own volition, I'm coming to the Black community. I'm saying, I realize that was wrong. Don't stop there. Say that was wrong. And now going forward, this is what I'm going to do to repair the damage that I'm telling you that I have done. And so I think that might be kind of like the missing, the just getting up there crying. It sometimes feels a little Karen-ish. Like,
do you think she lost points for that?
I think so says the internet. So I don't know if you've seen Twitter, but yeah, I think with a lot of people, she did lose points. And I think it was the combination of putting the apology and then following it up in the same statement with, and Black women are the women who made me feel bad about myself. You can't apologize to Black women and chastise Black women in the same sentence. Like, that's never going to work. That's never going to be effective. But also, you can't just stop at tears. If you really want to make a situation right, you have to repair. And repair is going to require you to do more than cry.
Do you think that just like in real life, being a Black man, if you want to come positions, like you have to work 10 times as harder to this day? And Black women, do you think that because technically you said there is a thing called colorism, that's what y'all two are saying, do you think that here's where it gets real spicy? Don't get mad, Kim. Don't get mad, Nikki. Do you think that Black women, unambiguous Black women, need to work harder in regards to getting the man that they want? Because they're not in a... See, let me finish the question.
I thought we were talking about... Okay, I just didn't know we were
it says spicy. Do you think that just like we have to work hard to get certain jobs or go to certain schools because of our color, do you think that the darker skinned Black women need to work harder to prove that they're more wife ready than the light skinned women? You get the analogy. It's not a pointless analogy. It makes absolute sense. You might not like it, but the truth is, because of the issues with colorism in our community, do you think that we have black women, darker women, brown women have to work harder to prove themselves to be worthy of being a wife or dating?
You can't
Do they have to be
outwork.
nastier? Do they have to cook better?
You can't outwork your skin tone. And so this is where I'm going to fall back on what I always say. I like who likes me. I do think that there are certain things that I have to work hard at in life just because I want terrific outcomes, and I will not get them without hard work. But I can't work my way into someone wanting a black woman that doesn't look black. And here I am, like, looking like a black woman and thinking my cooking, my cleaning, my whatever else thing that I'm doing is going to outwork that. I cannot outwork my complexion. And I don't think that it is wise or prudent for anyone to try to do that. The hard work that you do should be to get the outcome that you want. But I can outwork laziness. I can outwork even stupidity. I can just overstudy. I cannot outwork this. This ain't going nowhere. I just, so no. No. I don't think
And to follow up what Kim said, I think to a certain extent, I know everybody in this space is always talking about femininity and all of that. So for a dark-skinned woman, I think you would maybe have to bend over backwards and make a conscious effort to watch what you say, or watch your tone, or watch, how you speak, because no matter what you say, a light-skinned person could say the exact same thing in a more aggressive way and not be considered to be masculine, or be given a pass, or being told, oh, that's just spicy, it's cute. Whereas if a dark-skinned black woman says, it's like, oh, that's masculine and you aggressive. So I think in society, we do attribute masculinity to darkness. And when it comes to men, being a dark-skinned black man, masculinity is prized. So it's cool for you to be dark-skinned. Whereas if you're a dark-skinned woman, and we attach masculinity to dark skin, if you're a woman, it's like you have to kind of work hard to overcome people attributing masculinity to like almost anything that you do. Whereas a lighter skinned person could do or say the exact same thing or worse and not be called masculine.
great point.
Question.
And I think we've seen that.
Do you think so? Now I'm going to reverse the question. Do you think light-skinned women don't have to work as hard to get the same men that dark-skinned women have to get?
It depends on those men and their preferences, because I know several men, several, who will pick a girl in a particular hue, and it does not matter how her face is thrown together. She can look like Sade or she can look like Shadon't. As long as she has a specific skin tone, she's going to get chosen. I can't say for sure who has to work the hardest or whatever, because again, that's not my plight. But I will say this. If you are in a group and you are considered popular, or you are considered the standard of beauty, you don't have to work as hard.
Right. I think
because you're the standard of beauty. So no, you don't have to work as hard.
Tristan, the hard work in school comes from economics. No, once again, there is money behind economics, behind the color of your skin. So I totally disagree with Tristan. Once again, when you try to be king simping, it goes wrong. Because at the end of the day, this is why it's such a big issue. I want y'all to talk about the economic behind colorism. That's why it's not an invalid conversation we're having. Your color determines sometimes how you live, the quality of life you have. We just had Nikki say it's the majority. It's a great number of people incarcerated and they're dark skinned. We talked about the dark skinned homeless woman surpasses the amount of light skinned homeless women. So economics is affected by that, Tristan. It really is. I don't know why he would say such a thing. This is why it's a big issue. When you're telling me that a man won't marry you because you're darker skinned, that does affect your economics, right? That does affect the quality of life you have in America. Because marriage, once again, we said again, marriage is a business. It's actually the first merger ever created. So it does affect your economics, Tristan. So we want to be a little bit exact when we talk. It's cool to be a simp, but sometimes we're having a serious conversation, Tristan. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me any question you want, because I really want to start saying what I really want to say. But go ahead.
you're a man, you're around men. I'm sure y'all have y'all barbershop talk, y'all have your conversations. In your conversations with your friends or people that you're around, do you find that there is this kind of undertone of men having a preference for lighter skinned women?
I don't have that. I don't have that. At least my friends, we just like beautiful. When I was out recently at a hookah thing is in New York City called Gardenia Terence, and they were beautiful Indian women. I brought my Spanish woman in the building, and I saw two beautiful dark skinned tall women, and I couldn't kick it to them because I was with my lady, and she was just tall, and I'm talking about taller than me, and I was like, oh my God, y'all gorgeous, y'all lucky. I'm taking for tonight, but don't make that face, Kim. But at the end of the day, it's like they're gorgeous. Beauty is beauty. And I think most men like myself who are affluent, who are destined to be 100 millionaires, maybe billionaires, God willing, they care about beauty. If you see some of the billionaires, they're marrying darker women. Like the rich Russian, they go to dark-skinned women. Italian, the dark-skinned women. So it's not that, it's beauty. When you talk about these low-level guys, these low vibrational guys, I can't talk for them. We like beauty. We like productivity. Our women have to be beautiful or work the hardest. That's what we look for. I know my man only deals with brown-skinned women, dark-skinned women. He don't even take Spanish women seriously. He think they're a joke. I know a lot of wealthy men, white men too, that don't take Spanish women seriously. So that's a lot, huh?
Why?
Because they just don't. They from the guys I talk to, the old baker friends, they're more so just good to have as side pieces, right?
Well, I don't think that's kind of gross too, honestly.
I never said it was right. I said that's you asked me what they think.
I know, and I didn't say you did. I'm just making a statement.
Our wife is Spanish girl tomorrow, so that's not
know.
food.
We know. We waiting for it.
Kim. At the end of the day, I just think that I don't see the issue. The level of society I'm in, the color is not an issue. It's about if you have it or not. Are you successful? What type of school? It's all about pedigree. It has nothing to do with complexion. What's your pedigree? I think colorism is an issue that's done with those who are below middle class or below a certain class level. So for me, because it's about pedigree. Now, if you're a dark-skinned guy or a dark-skinned girl, you make it to Columbia or Harvard or certain schools, then your options, you still have the same options as your white woman counterparts. And they look at pedigree. We don't look at color like that. We really don't. Reginald F. Lewis, who's one of the famous frat brothers, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, he married a Filipino woman. And she married a black man. Not because he was black, but he just happened to be a billionaire. You feel me? Like, does it matter at that point? You like what you like, you don't have to explain yourself. See, when you're on a lower socioeconomic class level, you have to explain yourself. I'm trying to get to the point where I don't have to explain myself. Where I could walk in with an Amber Rose, I could walk with a Kim Kardashian, and you ladies can't say shit to me. Because I don't have to explain myself. But if I come in as a cook at a restaurant, I walk with a Kim Kardashian and an Amber Rose, you're going to talk to me any which way. Like, why are you doing that?
If you're the cook at the restaurant, are you getting a Kim Kardashian or an Amber Rose?
You'd be surprised.
So let me ask this then. I find it interesting what you're saying, King, but then I'm also looking at what I'm seeing. And there are several women who are in like the industry, right? Like, why does everybody have the same face? Why does Lala Anthony, Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, Larsa Pippen, why do they all look the same? Why do they all have the same face? You see what I'm saying? Like there is a standard
There's
of
a standard,
beauty,
but it has
and
nothing
there
to
is
do with complexion, though. It has something to do with bone structure. See, that standard you're talking about has nothing to do with complexion.
But then why don't we see browner skinned women looking like that? Why doesn't Kelly Rowland look like that? Why doesn't
she's not model? Kelly Rowland's not a model.
They're not models either. I don't even know. I don't know what they are.
That's probably not a runway.
Okay, but here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. I hear what you're saying, and I feel it to an extent.
Right.
But like again, it's about the standard of beauty, and we can't sit here. We would be remiss to say that there is not a that there is not a standard of beauty, or that there is a standard of beauty. Sorry, y'all. It's late. We would be remiss to say that the standard of beauty includes women who have African features.
I beg to differ. I want to say that the ladies that you mentioned are not the standard of beauty. Lala, Kim are beautiful to me, but they're the standard of popularity. They're not the standard of beauty.
So what's the difference? So who's the standard of beauty and who's the standard of popularity?
I say that if you let me finish, Kim. The standard of beauty is models. The fashion world determines that, and they all have the same body. They all have the same facial structure. If you look at
Tyson, ugly,
huh?
A lot of models are not. There's model pretty, and then there's pretty.
Well,
runway models are not always facially.
I would never call people attractive. Ugly. I would never call people ugly. That's very rude, by the way. Thank you. God doesn't make ugly. Thank you.
I don't think people. What society would consider to be ugly.
I'm sorry. I worship God. Society is not my God. But thank you. But I just want to let you know, at the end of the day, they're not ugly and they are beautiful. And maybe they don't have this that cookie cutter look, right? But they are.
What models are you talking about? Commercial models?
I'm talking about the high luxury models. I'm talking about the Valentino models. I'm talking about the Dior models. I'm talking about the Maison Margiela. I'm talking about the people that really walk this runway.
Runway models are not the standard of beauty.
Are they not?
No, they're not.
So what is the standard of beauty? Give me a standard of beauty.
Standard of beauty are the models who get like television campaigns and
so you're saying the standard of beauty is Lala and Kim?
I didn't say Lala and Kim. I'm just saying there's different types of beauty. The runway people are not. They're not the.
So is Ciara a standard of beauty? Ciara.
I would say Ciara meets the
and she looks like a model, a straight model. She looks like a straight model. She could be runway easily.
She could, but I've seen a lot of runway models.
Is Beyonce a standard of beauty?
Beyonce would be closer to the standard of her features are very.
She's not a standard of beauty. She's beautiful, but she's not the standard.
Who is the standard of beauty for you? Like who is your standard of beauty?
I just said that it's a certain type of facial structure that you go.
Yes, it's a certain type of facial structure, but a lot of runway models don't have that facial structure.
Yes, they do. They have the high cheekbones.
And it's also a complexion. Y'all stop playing.
No, they have a high. They have a high cheekbone.
If we're gonna have the conversation, we can't play with it. Let's stop playing.
And I'm trying to tell you,
is key. Complexion is key.
Yeah, I guess y'all don't go to Fashion Week and y'all don't watch Fashion Week on TV because if y'all look at the models, most of them are dark. They recruit from Africa now. The majority of them are African and darker. Like literally, I'm not even playing these games.
But we know that that's not the standard, though. But okay.
So what's the standard? You didn't give me anybody. You said Kim and Lala. That's not the standard.
What I'm saying is that's the popular standard. That's the okay.
Yeah, I agree with Rico. What Rico's saying?
What Rico?
That it's not models are not the standard. It's like the actresses, the people that they put in front of your face.
Okay, so give me an actress.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry is a standard of beauty.
Oh, there have been studies done. Her face has been called the perfect golden mean ratio face.
Because they had to hide what?
It's about the distance between your eyes, your nose, your cheekbones. It's a mathematical.
The Fibonacci sequence. It's all about the numbers and the angles and all that other kind of stuff.
Jolie has that kind of face.
Brad
Pitt has it.
Brad Pitt has it. So you think Kelly Rowland's a standard of beauty?
I think she has
a very beautiful face. Her face is definitely symmetrical.
I think so.
Has that symmetry going
based on complexion, y'all don't think so?
Now, I think so. Popular standard of beauty, maybe not because of her complexion. popular. I'm not saying that individual people don't think she's beautiful, but I'm saying that like as a collective, people would probably not say. Look at the group, right? I think now people are just probably admitting that she looks better than Beyonce. But like this is like the Kelly Rowland.
Oh
This
yeah,
is the first time that
I've
we've
been
actually
saying
heard
that.
that. I've been saying it too,
Your
but I'm just
uncle
saying like
said
we
it,
were
and so
saying
now
it.
everybody jumping on board.
Right.
Your uncle said it. Your uncle said it.
He did
But
say it.
my uncle has
He was
taste.
absolutely right. He was
Yeah,
absolutely
everybody knows
correct.
that. All right, so do you think Viola Davis is beautiful?
I do.
I do.
I don't think she's a standard of beauty, but I think she's
No,
beautiful.
okay.
Yes.
Do you think she's a standard of beauty?
No.
No.
Do you think Felicia Rashad is or was?
She's more so.
She's the
Probably.
standard of beauty.
Then.
Yeah.
She was a standard of her time. Yes.
Do you think Alicia Keys is?
No.
I think she's a standard of beauty. If you look at her face, it's like I think she's a standard of beauty. Do you think Kelly? Do you think? You know, I think it's beautiful. She sings too, and she's done a lot of. She's been acting, doing a great job too. What's her name from Philly? She was on the Roots album.
Oh, Jill Scott?
You don't think she's beautiful?
No, I do.
Yeah.
You don't think that's the standard of beauty?
No.
Are you talking about body or are you talking about face?
Face and
All of
body.
it.
Definitely body.
You don't think she's a standard of beauty?
No.
You think Erykah Badu is a standard of beauty?
No. And she's beautiful too. No.
You think Kamora Lee is?
Ish. That look.
With that, the exotic,
Because honestly, exotic and people who are racially ambiguous, that's the new wave. Look at the commercials, look at the movies.
Because that
people
does
who are being positioned.
Why would I get a woman that looks like one race when I get a woman that looks like multiple races and I appeal to all the market? You know what I mean? Like that's smart. That makes sense. Why would I pay a woman, just a black woman, to represent my product when I can get a woman that is she black, is she white, is she Spanish? So we all could gravitate.
I think that's the thought behind it.
That's the money.
Right.
That's the money. Like you make it a kumbaya thing when it's about money.
But it's also about some of the imagery as well, because to Dickie's point, when you see people who represent you, you have a connection. But when you don't see any type of connection, when you don't see representation, then there's no connection. Because again, representation matters. And I'm not saying that there are people who are racially ambiguous that don't deserve to be on the big screen, because there's racially ambiguous children who are like, well, I don't look like this person or this person. Now I see myself. So right. I think the bigger takeaway should be we need representation, but we need it in a spectrum. It doesn't just need to be, okay, now this is the only look that we're going for. Okay, so now the look is going to change. Like we need to find ways to have certain things in rotation. I personally don't think that a lot of Asian people and Asian children have enough representation. That's my personal opinion. You can't really see it. So again, I want to take it out of the context of Blackness just for a minute, because I do think that we have an issue with representation just in general.
Right. Why Information Man Show says, why can't she be the standard of beauty for our community? Let's not make the standard of beauty based on European society. She says, what European society says, we are all culturally conditioned. So do you think we need separate standards of beauty? That's a great question.
I don't think that by and large, people of African descent should be aspiring to a European standard of beauty. I think that you set yourself up for disappointment. Like,
so you said I can't get my man bun?
I never want to see you with a man. If I saw you with a man bun, I'm coming for your neck. Like, I don't want to see it.
I always wanted a man bun for some reason. I feel like I'd be sexy.
You the only one.
When Asian men have man bun and they in shape, that looks sexy. I don't know.
They do. Some of these Asian men, I be scrolling through my Instagram. For some reason, my Instagram be wanting me to see the Black women with Asian men couples. I be like,
okay, good. And you catch yourself with another Nelly incident. Anyway, Kim, what do you feel about that? Going downtown, baby.
Separate standards of beauty. So here's the thing, that can get a little tricky. I will say this. I think just overall, by and large, if you're looking at like the dominant group of people in the US, looking at the non-dominant people, the minorities versus the majorities, you don't really see a lot of the majority people looking at the minorities for standards of beauty, not the way we are and not the way that we exist.
Mhm.
So again, I don't necessarily know if there should be separate standards as much as there should just be representation. Because even if we look at the whole ideal behind a standard, again, we're just heralding this one look, whether this person is super brown skin, whether they're super light skin, whether they're in the middle, whether they're Asian, whether they're whatever. We just are going to look different. We are different people. So even when you have the representation, it normally is just one side of that particular look. And I just think that we need to find ways to go inside of ourselves more and just find a way to see actual like real people and appreciate what real people look like. And that should be our representation, or that should be our standard of beauty rather. Like whatever it is that you see, because we can alter ourselves, but ultimately whoever we are is whoever we are. And like, we can't necessarily change that. You can change our looks. You can get plastic surgery, but I'm just saying you with the rearranged face is still you.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing that we need to kind of get into is more so self-acceptance.
So we notice this thing in the Caribbean culture, especially in the African culture, where people are bleaching their skins. Even the men.
Yeah,
Sammy
And it's crazy, and it's crazy because even the men, you know, when I growing up, tall, dark, and handsome was something. I never thought about being light skinned ever in my life. That's why I as much as I love Spanish women and Asian women, I really would regret if I had a light skinned son. I told you that's one of my things. I don't want a light skinned son.
You better get ready for him.
Yeah, he would never know my struggle. Right.
You better get ready for him.
No, I don't. I think anybody with me is gonna come out chocolate. It's guaranteed, baby. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. This is pure. This is pure. Straight Ghana, Airway tribe, pure. It's gonna be chocolate. It could be Asian chocolate, Latino chocolate, white chocolate. It's gonna be chocolate. Don't worry about it. I've seen the baby pictures. Don't worry about it. Kim, you just be hating. Jealous ass. With that being said, you know, people are bleaching their skins, and they're bleaching their skins because they feel like they get privileges for being light skinned, and women are doing it because, especially in the African culture, because they see the men are going towards the European women, and they're bleaching their skin. So you might have something, might be onto something to the point that they actually cause harm to their skin. Right? I see women with light skinned faces, but their hands are dark. I'm like, what's going on?
The knuckles look a mess. The elbows, the kneecaps.
Shout out to all the Africans in Harlem. But at the end of the day, with that being said, the Brooklyn Africans don't do that. With that being said, it's really getting serious, and we need to really come to a solution about what we can do to encourage young Black women who are brown and Black to appreciate themselves. I would like for you to give advice as a closeout. What can we do for our young Black women, right? Realistic goals, right? And also, I want you to give advice to the young light-skinned or biracial woman. What advice can you give them to not feel guilty about being who they are? Because they are feeling guilty, just like most people. They it's not their fault. So I would like to have those two solutions given so we can close out this show. And the numbers are coming up right now, but you know what? Because y'all don't come early, we're going to end the show early because I would like to get drunk with random beautiful models. Thank you. I'm wearing this tight turtleneck for a reason. It's not to be doing a show. Thank you. Ladies, the advice for both parties.
I think if you have Black children, you just really have to be intentional about what you're allowing your children to see, what messaging and images you're allowing inside of their spirits. I think as parents, if I had children, I wouldn't just let them just watch stuff. Okay. I would be conversing with my children about, okay, what do you think about this? What does this mean to you? How do you feel? I would be conversing with my child to understand how they think, and where necessary, direct their thoughts in the direction that I think is best for them and their future going forward. If I had a daughter, I would be looking at what she's looking at on Instagram and having a conversation with her about how it's affecting her, about how she thinks about it. And I would be intentional about making sure there are images in my home that represent what I look like and what she looks like and what her grandmother looks like, and letting her know that this is beauty and this is beautiful. If I had a son, I would be making sure that he believes that I am beautiful, and therefore women who resemble me are beautiful, and that he finds beauty in that. Not to say that he can't find it nowhere else, but what you're not going to do is be out here acting like you don't never see no black girl that's pretty. Like, we're not having that at all. Now, if you want to date
are you gonna make him watch dark brown skin porn? I'm just being real, because hold on. It's one thing to say you're beautiful. It's another thing to say you're sexy, right? And men get that whole sexual thing from not from conversations with their mother, but from conversations with their friends and watching porn and other things, right? So, are you going to make sure he has that? Because that's how
I'm not going to be providing any porn.
I'm not going to provide that. I'm just saying that you consider someone beautiful, because I do that. I used to do that, right? I tell women they're beautiful. But there's a difference between me saying you're beautiful and saying, yo, damn, you look good. It's a difference.
I will leave that conversation to their father. I'm not going to be having.
I hope you marry a creep.
What?
I hope you marry a creep. Thank you.
Okay, can I go on with my answer? Because I thought we was closing out. You throwing all of this left field stuff at me on purpose.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I would make sure that my son knew that Black women are beautiful, that Black women of all shades are beautiful, and to value. And yeah, I would try to instill in my children to prioritize, not just think that it's pretty or valuable, but to prioritize Black women. Not to say that you're prohibited from ever dating anyone else, but all things being equal, you're gonna go with the Black girl, is what I would want my children to believe. And then for advice for the light-skinned women who feel guilty, I don't really know about this one. I mean, I guess my advice would be like, no one should feel guilty for being born the way they are. No matter what color you are, no matter what combination of color of parents you have, you were born and in the image and the likeness of God. So you don't have to feel guilty about your skin color. Now, I would say that it would behoove you to recognize that, due to no fault of your own, just because you're born in this culture with a certain historical context, that there are certain privileges that come along with you being whatever skin tone that you are. And instead of denying it, to recognize it. And if it matters to you, where you can, step up and make space for someone else. Step back, sit down and shut up sometimes and let someone else speak. Recommend someone else who is just as qualified or possibly more qualified than you for the role or for the position. So you don't have to feel guilty. Like, guilt ain't helping nobody. So instead of feeling the burden of your privilege, use the power of your privilege to help others, is what my advice would be. So less with the tears, more with the work.
Damn, that wasn't really helpful to licensed sisters and girls out of the community. But
how was that not helpful?
You tell them, don't feel burdened. Use your power and stuff, but help them cope with the guilt. That's all. You're not really acknowledging their guilt.
I just said they shouldn't feel guilty.
That's it.
Listen, I'm not a therapist.
Damn.
Ain't nothing I can do with. I mean, if you have biracial children, maybe you should get them in therapy early.
Damn. All right, Kim. Damn.
Okay, so if we're talking about how we're going to help this next generation, we have to be very mindful of how we all, different shades, how we are positioned in media, and again, the representation of these shades that people see. It's not enough just to say, okay, I see this person and I can connect with them, they're my shade, whatever. I think it's very important that we are mindful of like how certain people are portrayed. As well, I think the people who are guiding, the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the godparents, whoever, we also have to understand how we feel about colorism and the little nuanced things that we might be passing on to our children. Right. So just really understanding that and really understanding like how it plays into like the social spectrum that we're in. We just have to be very mindful. And we have to pattern interrupt, and we have to go deep and do our work and see if there's anything that we're saying to our kids that are encouraging one shade and discouraging the other. That's something that we've got to stop. Okay.
Right.
Now, you want me to say something to the lighter skinned people that have guilt. You can't be guilty. I mean, you can't be guilty. You can't feel guilty for something that you had no control in. We are born in this life the way that we're born. And the thing is that, like, if you do have some unresolved issues, and this is for everyone, light skinned people, dark skinned people, people in between, it's definitely a time where you can go to therapy, where you can talk to someone to find the root of whatever this thing is, because ultimately we are going to operate better as people, better as collective units when we operate better with ourselves and we operate in love. And that's it. So however you have to get to the love, however you have to put the guilt down, however you have to do all these things, you've got to do it. But like, you have to really take action. And I do think a lot of the action that a lot of this is coming from is going to be really worked out in therapy, because it's psychological. That's it. It's psychological. It has social implications, but it starts in the psychology of our minds and how we work and operate. So go to therapy.
Am I crazy because I don't look at color at all?
King, I hate when people say that. It aggravates me. It aggravates me. I'm going to tell you why it aggravates me.
I didn't ask you.
I'm going to tell you anyway. Because
I know you're going to tell me anyway, but go ahead.
Because my color has shaded my perspective. So when you say you don't care about it, you're saying you don't care about my perspective. Listen. When you say I don't care about color, I don't see color. Listen, it's like people use it in the same sentiment. I don't see color. I don't care about color. Color doesn't matter to me. I want it to matter to you, but I don't want to be mistreated because of it. There is a difference. I want it to matter because it's made me who I am. This is the lens that has colored my experience. So don't tell me that you don't see it, you don't acknowledge it. No, that's not the thing. Make it known that you're not going to treat me better than or less than because of my color. Right. I want you to see it because my color is me.
Right. All right. Well, I don't see it and mean that I'm unbiased.
Well, then say I'm unbiased.
No. You can ask me what it means instead of assuming.
Or you can just say, or you can just align your words to be closer to what it is that you're trying to say.
Or you can ask me instead of assuming, because what you did was said my seeing doesn't mean it means I don't care. Well, my seeing means I'm unbiased. But if you had,
you can simply say I'm unbiased. But you can simply say I'm unbiased.
No,
because at the end of the day, is your goal in communication clarity, or is it just using words and stringing them together and assigning a random meaning to them?
Both.
Well, King, if you want to be clear and concise in your communication, if you know there's a better way to convey what you truly mean, wouldn't it be best to use the word that best conveys what you truly mean?
No. Especially since you know the word, Ivy League graduate.
This is sad. This is what
shots fired.
Come on.
No, this is what I'm trying to say. Like,
you know better.
Sam is emptying the clip today.
Like, listen, I really don't look at stuff like that. We don't see coloration like most Black Africans do. It's what David said. He's Nigerian.
I mean, and that makes sense. You're from a majority Black culture. It makes sense that you wouldn't have the same experience with color as Americans do.
I'm from a majority Black community in America. So I'm from a majority Black community in America. You know that, right? You know, Brownsville majority Black.
Yeah,
right?
but you're in
you live there, but you have still been enclosed. You've been encompassed with your African culture, though.
But
it's insulated you. Even though you lived in Brownsville, you still lived in a very African household.
Airway tribe. I came here on Delta. I don't know how the rest of you Negroes got here. I know where I'm from. I guess I brought my shooter too. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it away. I'm putting it down.
Keep it out. Mine's right here on the table. Keep it out. You might need it later.
This is why I believe in having multiple wives.
So they can gang up on you.
I think he likes it. I think he likes it a little bit. I think he's very turned on right now.
I think he is. I think he likes it.
But if I was Jesus and I said I don't see color, I'd be cool. It'd be right. But because I'm not Jesus, like if I was Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, I said I don't see color, you won't question that. But when I say I don't see color, you question that.
But you're saying I don't see color, but that's not what you really mean, though. What you
So say
mean
what
is
you really mean.
I don't equate value with color. You're saying I don't prioritize color. You're saying I don't assign, positive or negative based on color. You're not saying you don't see it. You're not blind. You see that Kim is brown. You see that I'm brown. You see that someone else is mocha. You see it. It's just that you don't attribute anything about that person's character or their value or their beauty based solely on color. That's what you mean.
Right. I don't.
And you shouldn't.
I don't. But with that being said, you will have a lot of images and videos of non-black women on my IG.
We know.
And you're gonna have some that are black, but because they don't meet the standard of Kim and Nikki's version of black, they will be there. You feel me? I just want y'all to let y'all know that. I want to let y'all know that there will be black women. It's crazy because
he'll have to tell you they're black. You won't know just from seeing them. That's what he
facts.
Means. Yeah.
But they're still black.
Okay,
great.
It's just a little ambiguous. That's all.
Rico, you've been showing a lot of love to the Garden. I'm surprised you didn't attack the term unambiguously black.
Why?
I want you to attack that term. That's such an ignorant term.
Rico is a smart man. He would not attack it because Rico's smart.
Why say it's an ignorant
term? Perpetuate colorism.
So calling a thing perpetuates colorism. Colorism is not saying I'm this shade, you're this shade, he's this shade. That's not what colorism is. It is the preferential treatment or distreatment or bad treatment behind it.
Shout out to a revolutionary playboy who joined us right now. Shout out to him because he inspired my topic yesterday. That was such a hit. I want to say thank you for that. I mean, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you for keeping it a stack. We appreciate it.
I knew he would.
This is crazy. Well, listen, I want to thank you ladies for coming out tonight. We had an amazing show. I feel like the conversation with Queens, with y'all two, is a little bit, more serious conversation. It's not as spicy and crazy, but it definitely gets to the point on real issues. I think that we did come to a solution today, even though I don't agree with it. And that solution is just people having real love for themselves and love for others and being considerate, being empathetic with what people are going through, because we have to realize that. And also, one of the things is don't apologize for who you are, but use who you are to help others that don't have the same privileges. Right? With that, Zach, that's how I'm supposed to say it like that, exactly. Right?
That's probably the realest thing you said all night, King.
Conveyed what you mean.
So the real thing I said all night is told you.
That's the realest.
The realest thing I said all night, I can't repeat, but I want to say shout out to Nelly, and shout out to all the light skinned girls that can't get head. Thank you.
I don't know. That could.
Ashanti, and Chantel Jackson are laughing right now. You left me for that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I'm sending y'all my video. If y'all release it, y'all release it.
We don't want to see that. He want to send it so bad. He just, oh my God.
Because he made me feel like, and you know what? Y'all can say what y'all want. Nobody was complaining about him. They were complaining about her.
Listen, I'm not going to say nothing because, it's a family. I'm a family.
At the end of the day, listen, shout out to, this is why, brothers, you see what a black woman did to that black man who went diamond. Go get yourself a Spanish, white, Asian woman. They're not, if you go diamond, they're gonna give you some good wop. That's mixtape. That's not even mixtape worthy head. But anyway, I gotta go. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful night. And yes, you ladies and men, right? Annalisa, you ladies and men did amazing tonight. Annalisa, I don't know.
Thank you, Annalisa.
Some days you don't like me. but it's just I don't get it. But I'd rather you be on the garden because usually when you come to the garden, the trolls don't come. So please stay in the garden. Thank you very much, Annalisa. I love you, and you're an amazing person. That's it. Then somebody please send Sugar Bum the link. Please, no, send Sugar Bum the link, Nikki. I just sent you the video of me.
You did not.
I swear I did. Don't judge.
King, you ain't sent me
Don't
nothing.
look.
You better
Don't
not.
look
I
at
ain't got nothing no more. He ain't crazy. He ain't sent me nothing.
You would see. She would not look at it. She'd probably erase it.
I wouldn't, but you know.
Thank you, Rico.
My second husband was Nigerian, so I know. You ain't got to send me no link.
Your
I
second
get it.
husband?
I know. Yeah, oh, you didn't know that?
The plot thickens. It was Caribbean, then Nigerian. So now you had a second husband that was Nigerian?
Yes, sir. And
Oh,
I mean,
girl, we had to talk.
like,
Yeah, that was that. How was
you
he?
got a picture. I put the picture in the chat, in the group
We
chat.
I thought that was the Guyanese because one year
he was,
Guyanese guy.
Urobo, Delta State
Wow.
model with the V.
So what happened to him?
My cheekbones.
What happened to him?
Oh, he's still in New York, living life. You know, he was younger than me. He was 8
Yeah,
years old.
I gotta get some drinks for him.
Mm-mm.
I get some drinks.
No. We don't do that.
Mm-mm.
No.
You on my team. You ain't having drinks with him.
Right.
That's territorial. I'm not on anybody's team.
You ain't on my team?
Yes, I am. I'm joking.
Thank you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, listen, we cool. I'm never having drinks, so I don't want to talk to him. Period. Wait, Nikki, Asian up next, 3 times the charm. And Alicia, what about what's up with you? And we always trying to hook somebody up, and she don't want to hook herself up. What's up with you? What's up with you and Darrell?
You always.
I mean, trying to connect the dots where there are no connection to the dots at all.
What's up with you and Darrell?
No connection to the dots.
And
Why
I do believe third
Why
time
you
is
getting
gonna
jealous
be
for, Kim?
Yes.
Why you getting jealous for?
Getting jealous of what? Me and Nikki are talking about the third time being the charm.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Well, you don't want me to be happy.
I don't want you to be happy. I'm just saying.
What? What is this face that you're giving?
I'm just trying to figure out why people like this is crazy. No, a girl told me, she said, if I can't be with you, I don't want to be with anybody. I think y'all both need to apply those rules to your lives. Thank you.
We are with you though.
Every Tuesday.
We're probably with you in a way that's more meaningful than half the chicks we see on your story, if you really want to know.
And that's a fact, Jack. Mm-hmm.
Listen, don't judge my lady. My ladies love me.
No judgment. We're not judging them.
My ladies come to see my father on his birthday Saturday. What you talking about? What you talking about?
Well, happy early birthday to your father.
Yeah, shout out to my father. 12. My man buried his mother today, and it was his mother's birthday. Today, her birthday is the 8th, and he buried her on the 8th.
Mm. Well, peace and love and light to that brother and his family.
It's different. It's different. I went to mad weddings. Mad funerals. Fucking out mad funerals. That's crazy. Yesterday, last year. I haven't been to this much in my whole life. Because I never went to funerals. Anytime somebody got clapped or hit, I didn't go. It's crazy.
It is.
Anyway, y'all have a good night. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. And shout out to everybody from Brooklyn. We're in here. All right. Peace.
Good night, everybody. Peace.
Good night.